No matter how we analyze our data, formatting remains a key part of the activity because it helps us clearly view the data in our desired format. This can be in a form of text, date, number, or any color. By default, Excel gives us many formatting options like date, currency, accounting, etc., which are very useful by the way. But today we're gonna especially focus on creating custom formatting and also understand the rules that we need to keep in mind while creating the same. Let's go. Welcome everyone to Pivotal Stats, where we talk about data analysis techniques, business intelligence platforms, and much more. So let's go. Hey everyone. So today we have a small data set that I created, and this data represents the sales of few products with its selling price and the profit and loss from those selling products. Okay. Now we have 4 requirements for today, and we will get into the details of custom formatting in a while because I want to explain few rules that are there while applying a custom formatting. But before that, let me just quickly go through the requirements. The first requirement is whatever the numbers that we have, wherever we have the numbers, that is in these 2 columns, all numbers should be formatted with 1000 separator and should have 2 decimal points for sure, right? Second requirement is format all negative values in red color, right? So in addition to the first rule, we should have all negative values colored in red color. And if we have any zeros in these values, that should show as an hyphen. And if accidentally someone enters a text value within any of these value columns, that should show as an invalid. No matter what text that person enters, it should show as invalid and it should be colored in a blue color. Before we get into the actual working of how we apply those custom formatting, it's good to understand the overall structure of the custom formatting before we get into it, because in order to master custom formatting, we need to understand its structure. And remember, when we are applying any kind of formatting, it does not change the underlying data, but it gives you a unique control over your data by transforming the visual representation of your values. Okay. Now, most of us don't realize this, but custom formatting is not just one section. It is actually divided into 4 sections, with each separated by a semicolon performing a specific role. Okay. Now, let's understand this on a drawing board so that it's clear to you, right? Every section, as you see in this screenshot, is divided or separated with a semicolon in between, right? So I'll go one by one. The first section, right? This defines all positive values in your cell or range, right? That is, how do you want to display any positive values? The second section, this defines all negative values and how you want to show them in your final formatting. The third section is for any zero values, right? And how do you want to display those zero values? And the fourth and the final section, this is for formatting any text value in your data. Now remember, all sections of the custom formatting are not required while you create your formatting, right? So you need not enter all of those sections while you're creating a formatting. This is where we get to understand the rule of custom formatting while entering those sections. So if you input just the first section, then it applies to all positive, negative, and zero values. If you input first and second section, then first one applies to all positive and zero values, while the second applies to all negative values. Now, text formatting is only applied if you explicitly write the fourth section. Otherwise, it is not applied. Now that we have understood the rules behind applying those sections and writing those sections within custom formatting, let's understand few basic number and text codes that we usually use within those sections to derive our final output, right? So as you see in this table, there are few numbers and text codes that are used for formatting. Each has a specific function which can be used in combination with each other to derive very interesting results. Now in this table, I have highlighted few of those combinations, which examples for each. As you see, the first number code that we have is pound sign, and pound usually signifies the significant values within your data. In this example, I have an input value of 9453.735631. It's a long number with a decimal value. Now in the first example, I've just used a single pound sign which says just show me the significant value. That's why it's just showing me in the final output as 9454. But in the second example, I've used a comma in between, right? And I used it in a way that it shows me the thousand separator as well. So pound, comma, and 2 pounds after that, right? It shows me the thousand separator. Now in the third example, again I've used the pound sign, but this time with a decimal value. So it's showing me all significant values, but it is showing me up to 3 decimals, right? Nothing beyond that. So in this case, pound, comma, pound, pound, dot, then 3 pounds following that. So this gives me a value of 9453.736. So now comes the next number or text code, which is 0, right? In general cases, you want to use 0 when you want to fix the number of decimal points that you want to show in your data, right? So in this case, in the first example for 0, I have asked Excel to give me only one decimal value for the entire number. So pound, comma, pound is for significant values, and then dot 0 signifies that I only want numbers till one decimal value, right? So that's why the output is 9453.7. In the next example, I've used 0 and pound sign in combination with each other, right? As you see, after the decimal value, I've used 0, which says I need minimum 1 decimal, and then I've used a pound sign after that to signify that a maximum of 2 decimal points, right? So if a value is just 45, it will show 45.0, but if a value is 45.5432, it will only show 45.54, right? So I hope you understood the concept. Now the third text code or the number code is the question mark sign, right? This is usually used when we want to have some blank spaces when there are no decimals. So let's say I want to have values with 2 decimals, and the values which only have 1 decimal point should have a blank space at the end, right? So that's why there are 2 question marks, which signifies if the value is 2.4, then it should show as 2.4 and then a blank space. If the value is 2.45, then the value output should be 2.45, right? And similarly, so if I had added an additional question mark here, it would have shown me 2.4 space, 2 spaces after that. Okay, now the final one is specifically for text. Now if you want, which is @ and if you want to add a color to a particular text, this is what we use. You use square brackets, and within those square brackets you write in the color name, usually the primary colors, and then after that you can just write the @ sign to signify this is text. And in today's problem statement, we will see a variation of this, which will be in addition to what you have already seen, and then something extra. Okay, so stay tuned for what we are about to learn while we are solving for our requirements. I hope all these number and text codes are clear to you. So all the basic rules and codes of custom formatting has been covered now. Let us now dive into our problem statement for today. Okay, so if you remember the problem statements, first one, all numbers should be formatted in thousand separator and 2 decimal points. Negative value should be in red color. 0 values to be shown as hyphen, and text values to be shown as invalid in blue color. Okay, so what we'll do is, let's just come back to our Excel file. What we'll do is, first of all, the first step that you need to do is go to your data and select the columns or range where you want to apply the custom format. So I've selected column B and C. Once done, you can either press Ctrl+1 on the keyboard, right? Or you can just click on this small arrow key here to go to the custom formatting section. So let me just press Ctrl and 1, and it takes me to the same prompt, right? And click on this custom tab. Once clicked, just remove the default items which is there, which is general, in the type section. And in the type section, write this pound, comma, pound, pound. This is for the 1000 separator, because if you remember, we wanted all numbers to be 1000 separated and with 2 decimals. So dot 00, okay, because we wanted 2 decimals. And if you see, the moment I enter something in the sample section, it's giving me a preview, so it's easier for you to see how the text would look like after your formatting is applied, right? Now the first section is done, which is for all positive numbers. Okay, in the second section, I want to highlight what I want to do for any negative values, and in our requirement we want to highlight all negative values in red color. Okay, so the formatting will be the same as before in the first section, but I'm just going to add a negative sign and then write pound, comma, pound, pound dot 00, right? But before this, I'm going to add a simple color code inside a square bracket. That's it. Okay, so it signifies I want the same format as before with a negative sign, but this text should be colored in red. Okay, now comes the third section, which is the smallest one. I just wanted a hyphen where it is 0. So as you know, third section is for 0 values. I'm going to say hyphen, then the fourth section. And in this fourth section, if you remember, we want to highlight the text in blue color and change the actual output which is displayed to invalid, right? So first, let me just quickly write blue here, and I'm going to write @ here, similar to what we learned in the text code, right? I'm just going to write @ and press OK. So if you see, our formatting has been applied. It has converted all numbers to 1000 separated and 2 decimal values. It has changed the negative values into, colored the negative values in red. It has also, displaying 0 values as hyphen, but this is a text value. It has colored it as blue, but it's not showing as invalid because we have not specified that we want to show it as invalid. Okay, so in addition to what we already learned for text code, that is @, what we need to do is come back to the custom formatting section by pressing on Ctrl+1, and in this, click on this and remove the @ and instead write invalid here and press OK. Now if you see, whatever you enter in a text will be shown as invalid no matter whatever it is. So even if I write ABC here, it will show as invalid. Okay, so that is it. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section what else you think can be applied to custom formatting utilizing the knowledge that you have gained so far. Thank you so much and see you in the next one.